Hi everyone, today I want to talk about Ice Age and what caused Ice Age. And hopefully you learn more about our Earth and solar system. Up to 250 years ago, our ancestors were not even aware that we had Ice Age in the past. The last couple of centuries, scientists, or I better say paleoclimatologists, they have reconstructed the past climate by piecing together the information contained from ice cores, sediment, especially sediment under the ocean, and land forms, and fossils, coral reefs, tree rings, and try to figure out what is ice age and what causes ice age. Uh, Also, in the past, scientists thought ice age is a phenomena that happened overnight and suddenly cold and ice spread like a snowball effect. Polar region become extremely cold and the atmosphere and the air become very cold and it freezes everything. Then ice sheet expand and expand till it covers most or all of the Earth's surface. But the last recent years, most of the scientists believe that it is a long period of reduction in the temperature of surface and air of our Earth. And polar and continental regions, little by little, get colder and freezes, and that freezes everything, even freezes the water bodies, and then the ice sheet expand all over. Sometimes the ice sheets are as thick as thousands of meters, and again it lasts a long time. We had thousands of ice age throughout the history of Earth, but scientists have recorded 5 major ones. The first one took place 2.4 billion years ago till 2.1 billion years ago. It means approximately it lasted 300 million years. The second one was from 850 million years ago till 630 million years ago. Lasted approximately 220 million years. The third one from 460 million years ago till 430 million years ago, lasted 30 million years. The fourth one was from 360 million years ago till 260 million years ago, lasted 100 million years. And finally, the last one from 2.6 million years ago till today. This period called Quaternary period. We are still in a major ice age. Every 90,000 till 100,000 years, which I will explain why, we have a glacial period, means the ice expand and the temperature drop. And then we have a period which is interglacial period. On the general, Earth alternate between ice age and greenhouse period. Greenhouse period is a period that all of the ices melt. But generally, we are more in the ice age period. Like 20,800 years ago till 11,700 years ago, we had glacial period. Some scientists call this period Little Ice Age. Then from 1300 till 1800, also we had glacial period or Little Ice Age. The temperature dropped 5 degrees. Scientists cannot agree on the period of ice age or even term of ice age. Some scientists believe that in these periods, whether it was from 14th century till 19 or from 16th century till 19, millions of people died because ice expanded to the north of USA, to north of Europe, northern part of Asia, and millions died because of hunger. They didn't have enough crops, and millions died in Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, Iceland, they died Estonia, France, Germany, and on and on. And then from 1930 till 1970, also approximately 40 years, we had ice age. So some scientists say that was a little ice age. Some scientists say no, that was mini ice age. It was a short period. But they all agree. February 1780, they had mini ice age. In New York City, for 5 weeks, frozen the ices all over the city, from Manhattan till the Staten Island, which is approximately 18 miles. Everything was frozen. People couldn't drive anymore. They had to walk everywhere. Okay, I want to show you something which is interesting. You know, this is a data. We had 4 glacial period every 100,000, 4 interglacial, and right now we are in interglacial. But all 4 interglacial, that ice has to melt and the weather get warmer, the temperature was warmer than today. Interglacial lasts 1,000 to 1,800 years. Actually, these are the information that some of the scientists or media won't tell you. The last 5 years, even NASA admit that we had a drop in the temperature of the earth. We had cooling trend in our climate. And they keep telling you, oh, the temperature is rising and rising. Why? Because CO2 is rising, and they want you to believe CO2 is the reason that our temperature is rising. These are misleading information. Anyway, that is the reason that some of the scientists think that we are entering in mini ice age. The reality is the sun is the most important factor affecting our climate. Right now, the sun is in the minimum activities. I'm going to have one lecture about the sun's activity, sun's magnetic field, and sunspot, so it would be clear why some scientists believe we are reaching mini ice age, or we already are in mini ice age. Anyway, I'm going to show you another chart. This is a chart that we got from studying ice core in Greenland, and showed the last 10,500 years of ice core temperature. That is, of course, after the little ice age. It shows that out of 10,500 years, 9,100 years, we had the 3-degree warmer temperature than today. You see, today, the last 5 years, we have dropped in our temperature. Okay, what causes ice age, which is very important part of the lecture? Year 1920, there was a Serbian scientist named Milankovic that created a theory that we call that Milankovic cycle. And today, majority of scientists believe in that cycle. He said that our orbit around the sun changes. The tilt of the earth, or we call it axial tilt, changes. It says axial precession, which is wobbling of the earth, changes constantly. He said when all these 3 factors align together, we are going to have ice age. Let me explain everything. We have 4 fundamental forces in our nature. One of them is gravity. If we didn't have gravitational force, we wouldn't have planets, we wouldn't have a star, we wouldn't have galaxy, this universe, or even we would not be here. Uh, First of all, any object, even one atom, has a gravity because gravity is equal to mass divided by radius squared 2. So as the distance increase, gravity decrease. Gravity of everything effect on other object. Right now, look at the solar system. Jupiter is 465 million miles away from the sun, but it is the heaviest planet in our solar system. Jupiter is 318 times heavier than our Earth. So, because of the gravity of Jupiter, our sun, whether it depends on where is the Jupiter in compared to the Earth and sun, whether at any time will pull 12 meter per second towards the Earth or 12 meter per second away from the Earth. All of these planet and the star, they also have tilt. The tilt is the reason we have a season. Of course, like Venus, the tilt is 3 degree. Mars, the tilt is 24-25 degree. The reason for having a tilt are very different in each planet. But let me explain what causes the tilt of 23.5 degree right now in our planet. This is a still theory, but a lot of scientists believe in that. They believe our sun was created 4.57 billion years ago from remaining gases and dust around the sun. Everything in our solar system has been created. 30 million years after our sun was created, the earth was created. 10 million years after the earth was created means 4.53 billion years ago, an object that they believe that object was the same size of Mars. Mars is 53% of the size of the earth, and they call that planet Theia. They believe that Theia had crashed or collided into earth with a speed of 25,000 miles per hour, where in New Mexico in America. And that crash created 23.5 degree tilt. But scientists believe that this tilt does not stay the same all the time. Every 40,000, that's 41,000 years, our tilt changes. The tilt changed from 22.1 degrees to 24.5 degrees. So when we have more tilt, we have more severe season. It means that we are going to have hotter summer, colder winter. When we have less tilt, we are going to have a cooler summer, milder winter. So what happened? We have cooler summer, less ices will be melted from North and South Pole. And then in the winter that they have a snowfall, the snow year by year is going to accumulate and help in creating an ice age. Okay, let me go to the second important factor, which is actually the most important factor, which is our orbit around the sun. Right now, our orbit is approximately circular. It is not a very perfect circular. We call it little lopsided. Let me show you this picture. What does that mean? Means at some point we are the furthest away from the sun. We call that aphelion. When we are at aphelion, we are 94,500,000 miles away from the sun. When we are the closest location from the sun, we call it perihelion. Perihelion, we are 91,500,000 miles away from the sun. When we are above or under the sun, we are 92,900,000 miles away from the sun. So you see, we are not perfect circular. But this is not a distance, this is important, that create our summer or winter. No, the important is when we receive direct or indirect radiation from the sun. This is what I draw for you. When we receive direct radiation, we have a strong radiation, it is summer. When we receive indirect radiation, the radiation is spread out and we are going to have a winter. So let me show you here. So when it is aphelion and we are the furthest away, our north hemisphere tilt is toward the sun. In north hemisphere we have summer, and in Australia we have winter. You know that we are orbiting counterclockwise, okay? Counterclockwise, when we are here, we have fall in the northern hemisphere and spring in the southern hemisphere. And again, when we are here, it's reversed. We are going to receive even radiation from the sun in the north hemisphere and sun hemisphere. That is why that our days are equal in daytime and night times, in falls and in spring. In the summer we have long daytime in north hemisphere and short nighttime. And when we are here, we are orbiting, we get to this point, actually the tilt of southern hemisphere is toward the sun. So we are going to have summer in the southern hemisphere and winter in the northern hemisphere. Okay, so this is our orbit counterclockwise every year with a speed of 66,800 miles are orbiting the sun. But that doesn't stay the same. Every 90,000, 100,000 are orbit little by little, again because of effect of gravitational force, become elliptical. Right now, South Pole and North Pole always receive indirect sun anyway, but as they get away, they even get colder and colder, and that is what helps the Ice Age period. Let's go to the third factor. You know that this axis is imaginary, doesn't exist, but anyway, the first scientist that figured out Earth is wobbling was, his name was Hipparchus. Hipparchus was Greek scientist, was born 190 and died 120 BC. He realized he was actually genius. He was mathematician, he was astronomer. After many years, he realized that the position of the stars are changing in compared to Earth. So he figured out that the Earth is wobbling. Actually, every century, the Earth wobbles 1 degree, or we can say 3.5 centimeter or 1.5 inch every year. So that makes it that after 26,000 years, we are going to rotate 360 degrees in our imaginary axis. I want to show you this picture again. Every day of the year, if you pay attention, our point of the axis is always to the north. That means that if we are in North Pole, above our head, we are going to see North Star. North Star is a huge yellow star. The luminosity of this star is 2,500 times stronger than our sun. Even though it is 434 light years away from us, even anywhere we are in the northern hemisphere, we can see North Star. When we are in South Pole, Vega star is 25 light year away from us. A Vega star is a bluish white star, but the size of it is 2.5 times larger than our sun. But imagine 13,000 years later, in the north, we are going to see Vega star. In the south, above our head, we are going to see North Star. That is interesting. Studying of ice core of North and South Pole has proven that. But the interesting thing is, what causes these wobble? Any picture of the Earth you have, the Earth is round, but that is not accurate. Why? We know that our Earth is rotating once a day with a speed of 1,038 miles per hour counterclockwise every day. That creates centrifugal effect, means escape from the center. So that causes that our North Pole and South Pole become flattened. When North Pole and South Pole are flat or a little bit deep in, our equator become fatter. You think only people become fatter? No, our Earth need diet because scientists believe that right now equator, if we talk about diameter of equator, is 27 miles wider than the diameter of the North Pole to South Pole. So when the Earth become fatter, one side of the Earth receive always more radiation than the other. And this is what pushes the point of the axis downward. Another reason is that if we look at the South Pole and North Pole, 90% of the ices right now accumulated in South Pole, 10% in the North Pole. So the whole mass of South Pole is much heavier than North Pole. That is the reason the point of axis or our axis is constantly going to push down. Anyway, these are the three most important factors that affect our temperature. But there are many other factors like a volcanic eruption. Every volcanic eruption, the period is different and the gases they emit is different. It depends what type of gases mostly they are going to emit. If most of these gases are sulfate dioxide and ashes, it is going to have cooling effect and temperature of Earth will drop. If most of these gases are greenhouse gases, like the most important one, water vapor, CO2, methane, nitrous oxide, and on, the temperature of the Earth will go up. Then we have earthquake. We all know that earthquake affect our tectonic plate. Earthquake can cause strong wind, can cause tsunami or landslide and affect our temperature. Then we have a lot of natural disaster, like we have storms, flood, we have tornadoes, we have hot wave, drought, we have wildfire, thunders, on and on. These all affect our climate that we have no control. Then I mentioned also the composition of the gases in our atmosphere changes constantly. Our Earth's magnetic field also changes. Right now, our magnetic field is flipping. So, and many more factors. That is why when we say meteorologists try to predict our weather, of course, they have the best supercomputer that in 1 second they can calculate 1 quadrillion information. Quadrillion has 15 zero front of it. But everything is constantly changing and you cannot follow all these changes. And they try to predict our weather, temperature, air pressure, they try the humidity, cloud formation, snow, rain, and then they tell you in 2 days we are going to have rain, and it doesn't happen because it is extremely difficult science. Also, climatology is very difficult science. Climatologists try to predict that our average temperature in a long period. When the meteorologists have a short period, 1 day to a 1 month, the climatologists have a long period, 1 year average temperature, 10 years, or 30 years. This gives us overall a picture of our climate. That's why even we are not accurate for the past climate. How about the future? They keep telling you, oh, our temperature is going up. We don't compare our universe with America, California, or New York. The whole earth, we have to measure the temperature of the surface and air temperature. Anyway, I talk a lot today. I'm hoping till next time you stay healthy and happy, and bye everybody.